I hope I can be of help to you, knight.
How are the Talmberg folk getting on? Is it peaceful here?
Do you even have to ask? Some poachers have settled in the woods near the inn. A right band of them too. The master huntsman's at his wit's end with them. And maybe he could use your help. See you later.
God save you. Master Huntsman, is there any work for me here?
There's always something that needs doing. You're that Scarlet's lad, aren't you? Sir Radzig's lackey.
That'll be me.
Right. I saw you here shortly after the attack. My word, to get away from Talmberg like that, quite remarkable. It's clear you're not easily scared. So I do have a job for you.
I'm listening.
We've been having terrible problems with poachers lately. In Sir Divish's forests, we've been finding gutted entrails of deer and rabbit nooses all over the place. But no sign of the bastards who put them there.
And you want me to track down the poachers?
Indeed. Whatever you learn will be useful to me.
Do you suspect anyone?
Well, it's hard to say, but seeing how much harm they're causing, I'd say they're no crofters looking for a Sunday roast.
Shouldn't you be dealing with the poachers yourself?
I should, you're quite right. But when I ask the local folk anything, their mouths close up like clams. They're more scared of me than the devil.
Do you think the locals are in on it?
Well, I don't know, maybe. But even if not, they'll never talk to me. They're scared I'll dig some skeleton out of their cupboard. You know, the smaller the village, the bigger the secrets. That's why I need an outsider to ask for me.
I understand. I'll try to find out something about them. Any advice about where to start?
Certainly. Ask around the village. Somebody must have seen or heard something. And it wouldn't hurt to ask in the inn in the glade, the one on the road towards Neuhof. I've heard they serve good venison, and no shortage of it.
That's clear enough. As soon as I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Thanks for your help, lad. Take care.
I'd like to find out about the poachers round here who've been stealing game recently.
If you ask me, there's some questions best left unanswered. But go and see Olenna if you're determined. That old gossip will tell you all there is to know. Good luck then.
Good afternoon.
I heard there are poachers in the woods round here.
If only if it was just poachers. It's that sorcerer Hare. He's the one who's been running amok. I said he'd be back, and I said he'd be vengeful, and I was right both times.
Tell me something about Hannikin Hare.
Ah, that was all years ago. He turned up here one day. No one rightly knew where from. He claimed up at the castle to be a nobleman's son, and so he got the office of Master Huntsman, and Margaret was promised him for his wife. Nobody could have known he was a sorcerer.
And how did his sorcery reveal itself?
Well, he was able to vanish into thin air in the forest right in front of folk. And I've heard it said he spoke to animals, too, though I don't know the truth of it.
That doesn't sound very convincing to me.
That's because you've not seen his marksmanship. It wasn't natural, the things he could do with that bow of his. They say he sold his soul for the gift of it.
I see. How did it go with Margaret?
I'm not one to gossip, but she was a flighty lass in her younger years. She could never make up her mind which one she wanted, the Hare or Nicholas. So in the end, fate decided for her.
What do you mean? What happened with Hare?
Oh, that was quite something. And then some on top of it. Sir Henry of Lipo was visiting here at the castle, and Hare snapped his guardsman's neck with his bare hands. Of course, they found him out. But how do you keep a sorcerer under lock and key? You can't. That's your answer. and that Satan's spawn slipped the net.
Oh well, quite a wild story. Any idea why he murdered the man?
No one knows, and most likely never will. But they say he was fully in the devil's power. There was a full moon, you see.
There is one other thing I want to ask. Tell me something about Hannikin Hare.
Ah, that was all years ago. He turned up here one day, no one rightly knew where from. He claimed up at the castle to be a nobleman's son, and so he got the office of Master Huntsman, and Margaret was promised him for his wife. Nobody could have known he was a sorcerer.
There is one other thing I want to ask. Has anyone actually seen this Hannikin Hare? He seems to exist only as a bogeyman to frighten naughty children.
Oh, he exists all right, but he flits around in the forest like a shadow. They won't be catching him anytime soon, but Blacksmith's Betty heard some of their goings-on in the woods.
Goings-on? What's that supposed to mean?
Cavorting and raising hell. Sorcery! Hare meets up with his sorcerer's apprentices, and they feast in the clearing in the woods. In the morning, they turn into ravens and scatter. Or so she says. But you'll have to ask Betty for more. Who knows what she saw? Or what she was doing there with them?
Very well. I'll ask. Who does Hare want revenge on?
Master Huntsman Nicholas, of course. When the hare disappeared, Nicholas took his Margaret and the huntsman's posting.
So Nicholas came out of it well.
That one always knew how to land on his feet.
Was he actually seen killing the guardsman?
I suppose so. Else they'd hardly know who did it, would they?
That's probably true. Well, I should be going. Thanks for the chat.
Not at all. I always like a good chin wag. Good luck, then. Good health to you.
I heard you've got a poaching problem in the woods around here.
In the woods and out of them. Not long back the bastards hung a deer's head on the huntsman's house.
That's pretty brazen of them.
Certainly is. Word around the village is that someone wants to shame him till he squirms.
Putting a deer's head on the huntsman's house sounds pretty risky. Why would anyone do that?
Maybe they want to show that Huntsman Nicholas is no match for them. And they're not wrong. He isn't the man he should be.
Do you think it was someone local?
I really don't know. All sorts of things get said. Hannikin Hare's back, if you listen to some, and others are going on about Tom of the Baths. They swear blind he's got his fingers in it.
And what about you?
It could be anyone. There's more than one that has it in for Nicholas. And who knows what the neighbors get up to by night.
What's so suspicious about this Thomas?
Just that he was drunk and blabbering about how he was going to bring back venison from the woods.
Tell me something about Hannikin Hare.
He used to be Master Huntsman here a while back. But then Nicholas got him accused of a murder, and the hare had to flee. It cost him the huntsman's rank and Margaret, too.
What happened between Hare and Nicholas, anyway?
Those two didn't get on from the start. And then that business with Margaret really set them at each other's throats. But it all came to a head about 15 years back when Sir Henry of Lipa came to visit.
Sir Hanish's father?
Just so. There was a banquet at the castle in his honor, and in the morning they found one of Sir Henry's men-at-arms in the ditch with his neck broken. Well, Nicholas made sure the blame fell on Hannikin Hare.
So how did Nicholas put the blame on Hare?
Nicholas always had a viper's tongue, and events made it easy for him. That evening there'd been a right falling out between Hare and the guardsman. Blows were struck, Well, Sir Divish didn't want any ill will with Sir Henry, so he tried to settle things as quick as he could, and Hare got the short straw.
What was going on with Margaret?
Her father promised her to Hannikin, because they seemed a good match. But Nicholas couldn't stomach that, so he did what he did.
And what happened to Hare?
That's just it. No one rightly knows. They put him in the dungeon, but when Sir Henry's men came for him the next morning, he was gone. No one knows what became of him.
That'll be all. Thanks.
Good luck, then.
God's blessings. What can I do for you?
What do you think about all the poaching lately?
What should I be thinking? If they ever catch them, Sir Divish will have them skinned alive. But for that to happen, our master huntsman would have to be made of sterner stuff.
Folk were talking about Hannikin Hare.
Oh, good Lord. People do like to prattle on. Don't you go believing a word they say. It's the back of beyond here, and they'll tell any tale to spice things up a bit.
Do you think Nicholas isn't doing enough?
A master huntsman who lets poachers run wild through his woods? He's useless. He couldn't even stop them hanging a stag's head on his own house.
Right. Thank you, innkeeper. I'll be going.
My respects to you.
Listen, innkeeper. I hear you have some game here from time to time.
Aye, we have dice games happening most nights.
You'd make a stuffed bird laugh. You know full well what I mean.
No, I've no idea what you're talking about.
You trying to tell me some generous soul just dumped a load of game in your pantry?
What? No, there's a perfectly simple explanation for that.
Look, I didn't come here to make trouble. I just want to know how you came by it.
I hate to tell tales on anyone. I could end up getting burned myself, literally.
Would it be any better if I told tales on you?
Of course. Now I think of it, there's nothing wrong with showing a pilgrim on his way. It's what I'm here for, after all.
See? I knew we could figure something out.
But before I tell you anything, I'll have to put you to the test. You know, I can't send every Tom, Dick and Harry to my friends.
Fair enough. What do you want me to do?
At the stud farm near here, there's a stable hand by the name of Jacob. Bastard got lucky at dice, and won my favourite tanker.
And what's that got to do with me?
If you'd stop interrupting, you might find out. Anyway, he's so full of himself, he doesn't want to give it back, not even for money. But he's very fond of archery, and I don't need to add he likes to make bets.
I'm with you. If I can win your tanker back and bring it to you, you'll know that
You're not completely useless. That's right. So, get going. I'm thirsty, and I'll always tasted better out of my trusty old tanker. God be with you.
I hear you won a tankard off Andrew the innkeeper.
I did. Luck was on my side. What's it to you?
I always did like that tankard. How do you fancy testing that luck of yours and betting your tankard against my coin?
What do you have in mind?
I've heard it said you're the best archer in the region, but I'm not so sure. Care to put it to the test?
Maybe not the best, but I reckon I could beat you any day. Very well. I'll bet the tankard against your groschen. Deal?
Fine, let's do it.
Follow me then. See you later. You could miss one or two. You could miss one or two. Not bad. Not bad. You could miss one or two. Nice shot. But watch this. Beginner's luck. Beginner's luck. Not bad. Not bad. Sacre. You could miss one or two. Beginner's luck. Beginner's luck. Nice shot. But watch this. Damn. You're better than I expected. Alright, alright. Have the tankard. It's not like I've got much use for it.
God be with you.
I brought you back your tankard.
Ah, so you're not completely useless. Lucas will be happy to see what handy people I'm sending you.
I suppose this Lukesh is your poacher friend.
Now then, poacher's not a very nice word. I'll call him more a man who knows a good opportunity when he sees one.
I see. And where can I find this opportunistic friend of yours?
He lives on the hill to the north of the castle, in a small hut. If you're planning to talk to him, make sure you tell him I sent you.
I won't forget. Thanks.
I'm the one who should thank you. I'm looking forward to putting my lips to the old love of mine.
Andrew the innkeeper sent me. Said you had a job for someone who's good with a bow.
Did he now? That's all very well, but I don't know if you're a man I can trust.
So how can I prove it to you?
For a start, you can tell me why a lad like you wants to join us.
I have a score to settle with his lordship, and I can't think of any better way to get revenge.
Huh. Then you've come to the right place. Anyway, I have to check you out first. See if you're any good.
I'm listening.
To begin with, I need to know if you're at home in the woods. And if you're any kind of hunter, bring me some deer antlers, and then we'll talk.
Easy.
I was beginning to worry you'd got lost in the forest.
No need to worry. I would have come back sooner, but it seemed a long way to go for just the one.
Well, well, so you're keen on hunting. I like that, lad. So give me the trophy, and the first task of your trial is done.
The first task?
Well, there was only one to begin with, but then I thought you could do something else for us.
I see. So what do you want me to do next? Kill a dragon? Catch a water sprite?
Hilarious. Better listen up, lad. Nicholas the Huntsman has a very fine old hunting horn. But we'd like Nicholas better without any horns. Understand?
Wait. What's all this about?
Nothing to worry yourself with now. Get the horn, and we'll have a bit of fun.
All right. So where is this horn?
Sometimes he carries it with him. It is a badge of office, after all. But I don't suppose he sleeps with it. Best to go at night and have a look around his lodge. It's on the hill above the village, opposite the castle. Come back to me as soon as you've got the horn. I can't wait to see the look on Nicholas's face.
Right. I'll get to it.
Glad to hear it. Good luck.
Yeah.
God save you.
I need your hunting horn.
What? Why, for Christ's sake?
I have the poachers hooked. If I take your horn to them, they'll welcome me like a brother.
But that horn's valuable. What if I never see it again?
Don't worry. Give it to me, and you'll get it back along with the whole gang in chains. Trust me.
All right, if I absolutely have to. But remember, if you run off with my horn, you'd better run far and fast. Here you go. Take good care of it. God be with you.
I have that horn for you.
I'm looking forward to seeing the smile wiped off Nicholas's face when he finds out. As for you, the old man says you're in.
Last time you told me that if I brought the horn, you'd finally tell me what's going on.
Let's put it this way. Our old man's had it in for Master Huntsman Nicholas for years.
Why does he have it in for him?
There's more than one reason. But the heart of it is, Nicholas lied under oath and almost got him hanged.
That's a fair enough reason.
You're telling me.
What's he trying to achieve?
If you want to know, ask around the village what they think of the Master Huntsman. The old man is making a bigger and bigger fool of him day by day. Soon enough, the gossip will reach the ears of Sir Divish himself. And that's just what the old man wants.
So, what comes next?
We're just getting something big ready. We'll make camp in the north of Broder Woods. There's a concealed glade, and that's where you'll find us.
All right, I'll meet you there.
So you're the new fellow. Lucas said you know a thing or two. Question is, can we trust you?
Would I be here if you didn't?
Probably not. Did Lucas tell you who's in charge? Well, speak of the devil. Started to worry you weren't coming.
It couldn't be helped, Goathead. I had to get a document written up, and the nearest priest I can trust is in Janowitz.
Not writing your will already, sir.
Who is this?
Henry. Lucas brought him. He nicked Nicholas's hunting horn for us.
Then I'm sure we'll get on like a house on fire. Is everyone here?
Everyone. Except that fool Rada and the charcoal burner. No one's seen hide nor hair of him.
We can't delay. If he's not back by evening, we go without him. So, Henry, tell me about yourself.
What do you want to know?
Why you came here. Where you come from. You know how it goes. I want to know your story.
What if I don't have one?
Everyone has a story. Leastways, Everyone in this clearing does.
Sir! Sir! The Thornburgers are coming!
Hannikin Hare of Zalush, I arrest you in the name of Lord Divish of Talmberg.
The Master Huntsman is not coming?
The Master Huntsman arrests poachers, not murderers. Will you come quietly?
What do you say, man? Henry?
You made your choice, Hare. Time to pay for your crimes.
The answer to my
what's
prayer.
come crawling.
Just when I wanted to vent my rage. Go weaken.
Fuck.
Well, that's the end of you. No, there is something lying there.
Hold on! I'm asking you to hear me out.
Why should I listen to you?
Because if you care about justice, you're after the wrong man.
Anyone can say that.
And that's precisely why the accused should get a proper hearing.
Let me guess. You're gonna tell me you're innocent?
I wouldn't presume. I've been poaching on the Divish estate, and I'll take the punishment I deserve. But the crime I was nearly strung up for, that one I didn't commit.
I've no idea what you're talking about.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Hannikin Hare of Zalush.
The nobleman?
I used to be. My house became sadly impoverished, and I became the master huntsman at Talmberg.
Gamekeeper turned poacher? I see. That's quite a transformation.
Nicholas gave me no choice.
What happened to your family?
My father lost his influential friends and the money with them. After his death, I inherited only his debts. There was nothing for it but to sell up all our possessions, see to my sister's welfare, and manage as best I could.
That sounds a rough deal.
Believe it or not, I never cared for the life of a nobleman. I spent my youth running free, hunting in the woods.
What happened between you and Nicholas?
I was falsely accused of murder. Henry of Lipa visited Talmberg, and the morning after the banquet in his honor, one of his men was found dead.
And didn't they have any cause to suspect you?
That's just it, they did. At the banquet, I got into a fight with the man.
I know Sir Hanish of Lipa. Was Sir Henry his father?
Indeed. He was on his way to Ratai to take charge of the fiefdom for young Sir Hans Capon.
Why did you get into a fight with him?
The fall of the House of Zalush was the work of the Lords of Lipa, and that fellow took great delight in reminding me of it.
And then what?
Nicholas began to pull strings. Several people came forward as witnesses to say they saw me with the fellow later that night.
Why would he have done that?
He wanted rid of me. We were both in love with the same lass, you see, and Margaret is his wife today. But back then there was no question which of the two of us would win her. I was the huntsman of noble blood, and Nicholas was just plain Nick. Her father's preference was clear.
Do you know who did kill the man?
No. He was found in a ditch with his neck broken. He could have tripped and fallen, all on his own.
And that never occurred to anyone?
It did. But some people swore they'd seen us jostling on the drawbridge. Of course, that was Nicholas's work.
What did Margaret think of you?
She took me for a fool. She only had eyes for Nicholas, but I didn't see it then. In the end, she could have saved me.
How?
She could have told the truth. After the banquet, I was with her. But when they asked her, she said she hadn't seen me that night.
How did you get out of it?
What leads you to imagine I did?
Your head's still on your shoulders, so you must have escaped somehow.
I'm alive. But my name and my family's name has been dragged through the mud. For me, that's worse than the sentence waiting for me.
If you say so. But you still managed to get away.
Well, it's true I had the good fortune to escape from the dungeon.
From the Talmberg dungeon? That can't be done, can it?
It's not too hard when the lord of the castle himself helps you escape.
So, Divish set you free? From his own dungeon?
He couldn't offend Henry, so he had to lock me up. But he trusted me. We were friends, after all. He led me out of the castle in the night. I was given a good horse, and in a couple of days I was in Silesia. And that was the end of it. At least until now.
Even if I believed you, there's no proof. It all happened a long time ago.
I know. But if I didn't believe in my own innocence, I'd have to be crazy to have done what I did.
Why?
If I truly were guilty, why would I risk coming back to Bohemia? I could have died in peace as a rich man in the pay of the Jagiellonians. Only a fool would come back.
Nicholas took everything you had, regardless of your guilt or innocence. I'd say you have more than enough cause to want revenge.
I'm not like him. Anyway, you're right. I don't have any proof of my innocence. All I can give you is my word.
This is one of the most insane stories I've heard lately.
That doesn't surprise me.
But something tells me you're speaking the truth, Anakin Hare.
Thank you. I didn't expect to find anyone who believed me.
Trust me, after what I've seen lately, not much could surprise me. So, what are you up to?
Working out how to get Nicholas's confession.
And how would you do that exactly?
Simple. I'll have him sign it. I've had the priest in Janowitz write me up a parchment. When Nicholas signs it, he'll admit to everything written down there.
How do you want to force him to do that?
He won't have a choice, or rather he will have, between his wife Margaret and the job of huntsman.
I'm not following this at all.
It's plain enough. We'll kidnap Margaret. That's to say you'll kidnap Margaret while I distract Nicholas. If he wants to see her again, he won't have any choice.
Kidnapping? That doesn't seem like much of a way to clear your name.
No. Take a look around you, Henry. Sigismund kidnapped Wenceslas, his own brother. And Divish was abducted by Medek of Waldeck.
True, but Sigismund and Medek kidnapped the men they wanted to bargain with. You're thinking of taking a man's wife who's done nothing to deserve it.
And what of it? Those others did it for money or power. I'm doing it to redeem my honor. And since you mentioned Margaret, she's not all that innocent. I could have swung because of her.
But that confession's just a scrap of parchment with writing on it. What will happen to him after that?
That scrap of parchment is for Sir Divish and the provincial court. But we'll be generous to Nicholas and let him leave in peace before we deliver the confession to Talmberg.
So Nicholas will go free, and you'll clear your name?
Hopefully.
So what do I need to do?
That horn you picked up from Nicholas should help us. I'm sure Nicholas will recognize its sound from quite far off. I'll lure him out of the lodge at dawn.
And I'm meant to kidnap his wife while he's gone?
Of course it would be best if she went with you voluntarily, but if not, you'll just have to drag her with you.
I don't know. What if there's trouble?
That's why I'm sending you. I trust you. But whatever happens, Margaret mustn't be hurt. When you get her, bring her here. Then we can decide what's next.
All right.
Don't forget, tomorrow at dawn.
you doing here? Get out right now, or I'll scream!
You won't, because if I don't bring you back with me, Nicholas will be in deep shit.
What are you talking about? What happened?
That man of yours walked right into Hannikin Hare's trap. And if you don't come with me, his neck will be on the block.
Hare won't do anything to him. He'd never threaten a man's life.
Maybe he's not the person you once knew. A couple of years in exile can change a man.
I'll go with you. Just don't hurt me, please.
I've got no cause to hurt you. I want to ask you something first.
Ask away.
Why didn't you tell the truth back then? Hare was with you after the banquet.
I never wanted to marry him. But father insisted because Hare was of noble descent and his name meant something. That lie was the only way I could get rid of him.
Even though it meant condemning him to die?
Marrying him would have been a living death for me. I loved Nicholas, and I wanted nobody else. Can't you understand?
Yes, I understand. Do you know who actually did the deed?
No, and I don't think it was ever discovered. Once Hare disappeared, nobody bothered asking any more questions.
Come on, let's go.
Good work, Henry. Now we have to act fast and sort out Nicholas. Are you all right?
I don't think about it much. What next?
Take this confession. Go to Nicholas and make him sign it before you tell him where Margaret is.
What if he refuses?
You'll have to make him, one way or another.
I'm not complaining, but couldn't you go to him yourself?
Believe me, I'd rather not drag you into it at all. But if Nicholas sees me, he'll go straight for my throat before I get a word in. The only way to avoid bloodshed is if you go.
I see. Yes, you're probably right. And what if he attacks me?
Then of course you'll have to defend yourself. If you knock some sense into him in a duel, all well and good, but don't forget we need him alive. So keep a cool head.
All right. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. I'll get to it.
Here's the document. Don't forget to tell him he should get the hell out of Talmberg before we take it to the castle.
Where would I find you?
I'll wait for you in the clearing. Be quick. I don't want to keep poor Margaret here any longer than necessary.
I understand.
Have you seen my wife, Margaret? I'm sure something must have happened to her. I can't find her anywhere.
Yes, I've seen her.
Well, speak, where is she?
Hannikin Hare is holding her captive.
How do you know that?
It makes no odds. Just listen to me.
What, you whoreson? Tell me where she is right now or you'll rue the day.
Bluster all you want, but if you ever want to see Margaret again, you better get a grip on yourself.
Where is she? Tell me!
Yeah, you scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours. Sign this parchment here, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
I, Nicholas Angel, do hereby confess... Conspiracy against Sir Hannikin Hare? Just in proper punishment? What? You must be out of your fucking mind! Never!
Have you no honor at all? You almost sent an innocent man to his death on account of a woman, and now justice has finally caught up with you. So face it like a man.
Justice? What's all this about justice? Come to that, who are you, really? Why, you probably weren't even a glint in your father's eye when it all happened, and you want to judge me?
Merciful justice. If you sign this, Sir Hannikin will give you a head start. You and your wife could be long gone before Divish learns what you did.
I take it there's no other option.
None. But the deal could have been far worse. You can trade your good name for a happy life with your wife.
There. Now tell me where my wife is.
There's an old mine gallery, a little to the south of here. Margaret is in there, alive and well.
I certainly hope so.
So, have you got it?
It's done. He signed it.
Voluntarily?
Yes. More or less.
Well, I'm glad it's been done without bloodshed.
And what now? Will you take the confession to Talmberg?
We'll go together. I need you to bear witness. I've been gone for years, and I'm not sure they'll take my word for anything.
Well, I hope they do believe you. Otherwise, we're both for the noose.
Don't worry. Divish won't forget our former friendship so easily. Are you ready to go?
Anakin Hare. I never expected to see you again.
It was the will of God that I returned.
You realize that Sir Henry of Lipa has never repealed his sentence against you. I'm duty-bound to arrest you and turn you over to the Provincial Court.
Perhaps. But will you read this first? Henry here is my witness that your master huntsman Nicholas signed it himself. This ought to change their minds.
It might. I'm sorry, Anakin. I always trusted you. But your guilt seemed irrefutable. Nicholas was very thorough. Oh, there's no doubting his own confession. Captain.
Yes, sir.
Have the Master Huntsman arrested.
That won't be necessary. I don't think they'll find him.
I understand. So, what's to be done with you now? Poaching? And kidnapping the Master Huntsman's wife. You see my difficulty.
I know. I can't stay here. It's enough to know my name is cleared.
I'll have a letter drawn up to recommend you to the service of Sir Vincent at Vellish Castle.
Thank you, sir.
But if Nicholas has vanished and we're sending you to Vellish, then who's going to be my master hunter here?
There's one obvious candidate. Henry here. Helped me bring Nicholas to justice. And he's no disgrace as a hunter.
Really? Well, what of it, young man?
It would be an honor, sir.
Good, good. Then I hereby name you Master Huntsman at Talmberg Castle. My Chamberlain will tell you more about your new responsibilities. Good luck to you, Hannigan.
Thank you, Henry. I could never have managed it without you. God willing, we will meet again one day.